have a couple of questions for you, some young people who want to come up. First is Landry with her question.
First, thank you so much for being here. It is truly such an honor. You have inspired women and men across the world to fight for women's rights to education. How can we in the United States support this movement in the Middle East specifically while keeping the focus on those that are already fighting and making progress?
Thank you so much for your question. I think there are lots of ways in which you can stand up for people who are going through conflicts, for people who are displaced, who have become refugees. I think one thing is just showing a positive message, whether that is through people who you see are refugees in your community, standing up with them, meeting them, supporting them, helping them, but also through other ways like social media, showing your solidarity, showing your support. And there are lots of organizations who are helping refugee children, who are helping refugees in these regions. So supporting and reaching out to those organizations as well is a very is also a path that you can choose. But also joining campaigns and joining protests, so you can ask your governments, your leaders to give more support to refugees. So there are lots of ways, but what you need first is ambition, is passion, and once that is there, all the doors will be opened.
Next up we have Ashley. And Malala, you mentioned social media. I think that our students are familiar with social media. They will be able to use that to your advantage. Ashley? Sorry.
How does knowing many languages help a student in the future?
So how does knowing many languages help with the success of your future? Good job.
Oh, I understand like what it means to be short and then standing on the stage. I had to wear high heels all the time. Still doesn't work, but so I personally can speak 3 languages. One is Pashto, which is my mother tongue. Then one is Urdu, which is the national language of Pakistan, and then English. So I think languages, I just often just take it for granted that I know these languages, but I think it is so important because you are able to communicate with people in their own language, and you're able to express yourself in a better way. So if someone is speaking Spanish and I know Spanish, then I can express myself more clearly. And so I think yes, it is a skill, it is a talent, and the more you know, the better. And so yes, learn more languages.
Okay, next we have a question from Tiffany. I see your dad smiling over you here. We're so happy to have you both. Here you go, Tiffany.
Once again, it's an honor to have you here at McCaskey. So, what advice do you have for students coming to the United States from another country?
All the students who have come from other countries, I would say that it is important for you to integrate, to mix with other communities, to step forward and share your stories, share your feelings. If you if you put boundaries around yourself and don't mix with other communities, it wouldn't help you. It's important that you mix with other communities and other cultures, and it helps you to learn more, it helps you to understand more, and the more you integrate, it just empowers you. You feel that you know more, it broadens your vision, so that is essential for that. But also believe in yourselves, follow your dreams, and always stay confident, and never lose hope. There are challenges to each and every one of us in our lives, but what we need to do is be positive and believe in ourselves that if we work hard and if we stay confident and stay positive, things will change, and we will see that things will get better.
Great advice, following your dreams and working hard. I'm sure the teachers say that here all the time, but I feel like it has something different coming from Malala. What do you say?
Yeah.
Sarah is up with our next question. Sarah?
Once again, thank you so much for coming. You have been an international figure because of your passion for advocating for education rights for disenfranchised groups, and it is an honor to stand before you today. But how do you plan to combat religious discrimination while still focusing on women's education around the world?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. But how do you plan to combat religious discrimination while still focusing on women's education around the world?
I think it is really disappointing that there is discrimination in society, whether that is based on religion or your gender or your skin color. And I think these are the things that we have to change. And this is not just one thing. This is based on many things, as I mentioned. But right now, the way that Muslims are affected because of the blame that is put on the 1.6 billion Muslims as being terrorists, I think that is completely disappointing and that is wrong, because I am a Muslim and I was targeted by these terrorists who stood in the name of Islam. They didn't care about my faith. They didn't care about the faith and the religion of anyone in Swat Valley, who are all Muslims. So let me tell you that these terrorists and extremists, they don't care about anyone's faith. And all they want is their own self-interest. And though they may be saying that they're fighting in the name of Islam, that is not Islam. To me, Islam is a religion of peace, and I believe in Islam. I'm a proud Muslim, and Islam has given me the right to speak out for myself, to be an independent woman, to get my education. And in Islam, it is not only your right to get education, it is your responsibility as well to learn and to get knowledge. And the very first word of Islam was Iqra, which means read. So education and learning is very closely linked to the message of Islam. And so is with, so I think this is what is important, that Muslims need to stand up, and they need to be united, and they need to show to people that the extremists you see on TV, they are not us. And we are peace-loving people. And I think for that, integration and connecting to communities and talking to people is so important. My father often says that if you want to know about Muslims, don't watch TV, but go to your next door Muslim neighbor and talk to them and know about them. So it is integrating and talking to people. That is how you can know people rather than watching TV and news.
And Alice has our last question.
Why is education important for girls?
Say again, go ahead.
Why is education important for girls?
Education.
Well, I'm a girl, and once my education was stopped, and today I stand up for education of me, but also girls all around the world. And education is important because it is a way through which girls can go forward in their lives. Girls need to remember that they face more challenges than boys, whether that is cultural or religious, and those kind of stereotypes that we have in society. There are more challenges to girls that they face, and especially in the developing countries where girls have to go through, once they enter the stage of being called an adult, and that is through the age of 13 or 14, that their parents would say that now you're old enough to get married, now you're old enough to have children. And in some families, the families are really poor, and girls may face domestic child labor, where they have to go and work and not go to school, but also that cultural kind of mindset that is present in societies where they don't really accept women as equal to men, and they believe it is okay for girls not to go to school and for boys to go. And like the same happened in my own family, where my grandfather allowed both my father and his brother to go to school, but didn't allow the rest of my brother's 5 sisters to go to school. That was completely acceptable for them because they didn't accept women as equal to men, and they thought that women are going to get married anyway, so why to give them education, because they're going to go to another family. So these are mindsets that are present in society, and I think we have to challenge them. And whether that is through advocacy, whether that is through using social media, whether that is through supporting organizations who are helping girls to get education, but also everyone has to play a part. Like the media, what people see every day in their society, what they see in the news, what they see in the films, all these things play a key role. But we have to remember that people may not listen the first time, but if we keep on raising these issues, they have to listen to us at the end, and things will change, and we see progress in all these countries, including in Pakistan, where many families have started sending their daughters to school, and we have received so many calls from people who are saying that now they are really proud to send their girls to school. So things are changing, and it will change, but for that we have to be united. We have to make sure that we come together in spreading this message of education, and we also have to tell our leaders, our politicians, that they need to increase their investment towards education, because there's lack of money as well. Our leaders are very generous in spending on military and wars, but when it comes to spending on education, when it comes to spending on peace and things that are related to human prosperity, and they're really misers. So we need to make sure that we encourage them to increase the spending on things that benefit the whole community, that benefit the whole humanity. I don't know why they don't understand it, but we will make them understand, and we'll keep on fighting for that. And again, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, everyone. What a wonderful treat. Kudos to the School District of Lancaster for reaching out to Malala and having her and her family here. I think there's a little bit of homework tonight, students, and that is spread the story of Malala, the story of love,